Hello. So today I made pancit, which is a noodle dish consisting of soy sauce and different meats and vegetables, however, like to your liking. Originally, there were a lot of Chinese migrants that lived on the island, and they worked as food vendors, and they were often called pancinos. And so, while they were working as food vendors, they sold a lot of noodles because it was a very convenient and like quick thing to sell and make. So the women of the families would pick up food on the way home from work, and that was often noodle dishes because that's just was what was easy and convenient for not only them but for the vendors themselves. Over time, pancit has become a very traditional Philippine meal, and it's often found during celebrations such as birthdays and New Year's Eve. And it's believed that consuming like the very long noodles that like are often made with the dish, that it ensures a long life to those who eat it. There are two types of this dish, the first being pancit canton, which is the more common of the two, and it uses a egg noodle, and then you have pancit bayan. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. I don't know which version of it to say, but it uses the thin translucent noodle like I will be using today. And also in this video, you will hear me saying either pancit or pawn sticks. From what I've like been able to research and try to find out, and also asking a few people, it kind of just depends on where you are and who you are when you're pronouncing it. But as far as I know, both ways are an accurate way of saying it. So if you hear me saying it either way, just know that I am talking about the same dish. But I hope you enjoy this, and let's get right to it. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to the kitchen. So this recipe, I actually looked at this recipe on multiple different sites, and most of them had the same basic recipe, but all of the recipes were for like large group settings, which is what this meal is typically made for people like 50, 60 people. So I was able to find one on a site called Pinch of Yum. It is an American blogger who makes a lot of like food from different cultures, and this only is supposed to make it for about like 12 to 16 people, which is still a lot, but we're gonna try and see how this goes. It's only supposed to take about like no more than an hour. Like the cook time itself is about 25 minutes, and it calls for Okay, so for this first step of the recipe, we are going to soak a pound of these vermicelli noodles into lukewarm water. And I've already filled up this bowl with about half a bowl full of the water, and we're going to let it soak in there for about 5 minutes or until the noodles are soft. And while they are soaking, I'm just going to go ahead and preheat, that's the right word. We're gonna go ahead and preheat the stovetop so that we can start making or browning our pork chops. So for this next part, we are going to brown the pork in the oil, mixing in the soy sauce, garlic, and onion. This is my very first time ever cooking pork, so hopefully I don't screw it up. I believe I was supposed to cut the pork beforehand, but I guess we'll see.
show you like how.
Okay, so right now we're just waiting on the pork to brown, and then the next step we'll be adding the water and the beef bouillon cube. You're actually supposed to add a pork cube, but after doing some research, I found that like they do make pork ones, but they are kind of hard to find. So I like looked at other recipes, and it did say that adding a beef one is perfectly fine if you cannot find a pork one. So next time I see you, we'll be doing that. Okay, so the pork is kind of brown. I don't exactly know how brown it wants it to be. So I'm gonna say it's okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the next step because I'm not really sure if this is okay yet. But we're actually gonna add 1 cube, actually half a cube, because the recipe that calls for like 16 people uses a whole cube, so we're only going to add half. So set that bad boy in, and then we are going to do 3 cups of water. Okay, now that that is in, we're just going to kind of stir it around. I don't know how these cubes work, but we're just going to stir it around and let it come back to a low simmer before we add anything else. Okay, so now that our ingredients in the wok are now at a low simmer, we're just going to add the vegetables and then allow those to cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to personally do around 8 minutes, and then we'll come back from that. Okay, so the final result is this right here. I've already taken a few bites of it, and honestly, like, I really do enjoy it. I feel like after making it a few times, like, it would definitely taste a lot better once I learned, like, how to actually make it. But I did add a lot more soy sauce towards the end of the recipe because I felt like some of the flavors weren't exactly there. And I feel like that is partially, like, my own fault with cooking because I'm not used to cooking one pork and just cooking in general. So browns, we were going to add water and the beef bouillon. How do you say it? Beyond. Beyond. Boo. Bouillon. Okay.